القرآن أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Dear viewers all over the globe, I greet you with the greeting of love and peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be unto all of you. Today, as usual, is a continuation of our series, Reflections upon the Quran. As usual, we select a verse from the Quran and try to reflect upon it. The verse that I selected for today is so significant again. And I would like to tell you that the way to reflect upon it is to ask yourself, am I one of those people or am I not? The answer, the regular answer or the normal response is yes, I am one of them. I am one of them. But in reality, ask yourself to make checklist every day to see the things that you do on a daily basis, whether really they prove that you are one of those people or not. This beginning, I think this introduction is enough. Let's see together the verse on the screen. It reads, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن الناس من يتخذ من دون الله أندادا يحبونهم كحب الله والذين آمنوا أشد حبا لله. The meaning can be translated. Again, this is verse number 165 on the second chapter, chapter 2, Surah Al-Baqarah. Can be translated as the following: and of mankind or among human beings are some who take for worship others beside Allah. They take them as rivals to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They love them as they love Allah. But those who believe love Allah more than anything else. Let me discuss it with you. For example, some people love others to the degree that they make them as rivals to Allah on the same level. So some people would love Allah, would love another sheikh on the same level. Some people would love Allah and would love another idol or any idol to the level of that. Some people would love Allah and would love money, for example. Some people would love Allah and love property on the same level. Even some of them would love the others more than they love Allah. And you can see many examples in your life. Let me give you some examples in our daily life. Some people may love something in this life to the degree that even when they hear the adhan, they call for adhan, and it becomes a regular habit for them that they don't respond to the call from Almighty Allah, and they focus on the transaction that they do, or whether it's financial transaction or selling and buying, or because of the enjoyment and the entertainment and the good quality time that they spent with women, or because they are doing some gambling, or even because they are watching football. And just a few days ago, the World Cup Mondial has just ended, and you can see by your naked eyes what humans have done during that, how many hours they spent watching, how much money they spent, how many dollars and thousands perhaps and millions were spent on traveling and watching this because they want to enjoy themselves. And I'd like to remind you, this is nothing against Islam. Islam may accept some of these things if it is limited, if it does not contradict with, for example, the time for prayer, if it does not affect the quality of your time that you spent with Almighty Allah. Because again, this is on the top, or the top priority for Muslims is Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anything that interferes with that love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be considered as if it is rival with Almighty Allah. Some even people would sometimes do this and sometimes love this, and it would be shakeable, yes. They are unable to decide the priority for them, and they forget about the love of Almighty Allah. Some people do that, whether they are Muslims or not Muslims. Some people would say, you ask them, why do you do that? He said that I do this because my sheikh told me to do that. Who is your sheikh? I'm telling you, Almighty Allah is saying that, and you're saying something, you're taking the words of your sheikh and putting them as if they are equal to the words of Almighty Allah. You should use your brain in the correct way. This is what every Muslim, an average Muslim would do, is that would put the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala above any other words, above any other advice, above any other text. So, if you put the priority in the hierarchy in this way, you would never be in confusion. But some people do that. And look at the rest of the ayah said that وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. This is the comparison. The first category, yes, does not love Allah, yes, in a superior way. In other words, they take rivals beside Allah. And these rivals can be, as I said, that money, can be children, can be gambling, can be games, can be any other thing. But the believers love Allah more. The believers know how to put the priority. It's a very beautiful meaning. But the lesson again, I'm reminding you when you reflect upon this, of which group you are. Do you belong to the first category, some people, or do you belong to the second category? Try to test yourself and see what you do. Did you do the prayer of Salat, the morning prayer today in a group? Did you do it on time, or did you delay it? Right. What did you do? What other things that you did to do to show that you love Allah more than you love your sleeping, more than you love the transaction that you are going to do? And because some people, when it's time, now it's time, no, give me 1 hour because I have something very important, something big to do. And that's why the response comes, Allahu Akbar, Allah is greater than anything else, greater than the transaction that you are going to do, greater than the job that you are doing. You can delay it if it is not essential. So you can delay it and, yes, do the prayer and respond to the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the Muslim. This is the time for Allah. Nothing can intervene with it. This shows how much love Muslims have when they get up early in the morning, quitting the pleasure of sleeping soundly in order to please Almighty Allah, to seek the pleasure of Almighty Allah. At the same time, every act of worship that we do on time and correctly reflects this beautiful meaning in the hearts of the believers. Let's see one example. When the people at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the disbelievers and the unbelievers, tried to negotiate with the Prophet ﷺ, to try to put some temptations to him. Okay, we'll collect money to you to make you the richest person in our country. Okay, if you are sick, we'll bring the best doctor in the world to treat you. If you like to marry women, we will give you our daughters They try to tempt him by any means. These are the means of temptations that are taken by human beings to be on the level of Allah. So they are trying to tempt him. And he said his famous statement to his uncle in front of all those people. He said, "Oh, my uncle, even if they give me the sun and they put it on my right hand, and they give me the moon and they put it on my left hand, so that I would leave this matter, I would leave the love of this religion, I would leave calling people to come to this religion because I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I would never, ever quit this religion. Because I love Allah more than all the temptations that they gave me, even more than the sun, even more than the moon, even more than everything else." What a beautiful statement. What a beautiful situation that had been done by our Prophet ﷺ, our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that shows that he loves Allah more than he loves anyone else. That shows us that he is on the top of those people who are on the second category here. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Brothers and sisters, and all the viewers, the test of this reflection is to ask yourself, am I one of those people who belong to this? If I am asked to leave something because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked me to leave it, am I doing it for the sake of Almighty Allah, or am I not doing it? If the answer is yes, I am doing it. Yes, I am listening to the command of Almighty Allah, and I am willingly accepting it. If this is the answer, so you belong to the second category. But beware, you may do it once, but the parameter, the right parameter is what? Is you do it consistently. Not up and down, not inconsistently, because this is the source of success. You really want to be successful, to be one of those people who belong to this category that includes Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that includes Jesus alayhi salam, that includes Musa alayhi salam, that includes all those messengers of Allah and the good people. If you think that you belong in them, do these things consistently. And then and only then. That's why it's very important to have a checklist in your house somewhere. Check your acts every day. And that's why one of the companions taught us how to hold ourselves accountable, to check ourselves every day before we sleep, and to see how much have we done that makes us belong to this category, the category of those people who love Allah more than they love anyone else. I think so beautiful verse. It really touches the heart. It sometimes makes you cry because you love and you want to be from those people who love Allah more than anything else. Before I end, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us support to me and to all the viewers and to every sincere Muslim. We need his support to continue loving him, to do our ibadah regularly. So, oh Allah, do this to us. Give us your support. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها أفلا يتدبرون